Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Ariel H. Alright, guys, just left the bank. I had to get something to get to submit so I can get paid. Also, how funny are smart cars? I've always really enjoyed looking at smart cars because they're so tiny, and I want one, but obviously I have not pulled the trigger on it. Basically, I've been like delaying payment for myself. It's mostly my fault, but also not completely. But I just needed like to provide a letter from the bank that shows, my name, the bank, my account number, and all that good stuff. And it's been tricky because every single time that I remember to go to the bank, I basically just remember like after they're closed, and well, I can't get that information if they're closed. And I've tried calling. I called them a couple times and I was like, yo, I need this letter. So I called the bank and then I asked them to send it to me, and they said it would take 5 to 7 days. And well, I was like, all right, fine. And then 5 to 7 days came up, and then I went to go check the mail. My mailbox was left open and the mailmen were not putting mail inside. So I had to call the mail people, the postal office, and then that was like a whole process. And then finally I got the letter, and it was the wrong letter. So I called the bank, I asked them for a new one. It wasn't the right one again. And so finally I made time and had time to go to the bank and get that letter that I needed, because that's like almost $2,000 that is basically not paid out yet, and that obviously goes towards my house, which I need to pay off. So anyway, I got the letter. I'm ready to get paid. I do have a job with that same company in 2 days, so now that my pay is like set, once I submit it, it'll be easier for them to pay me, and it'll be easier for them to like hire me and more consistently. So that's my Friday. I did make it to HEB, the grocery store right next to the bank, so I might as well get some groceries. All right, vloggy, I didn't show my grocery store process because I forgot that I was vlogging. But anyway, got the essentials: Coke Zero, water, some eggs, some cereal, some proteins. Yeah, basically just stocked up. Also, I have a terrible thing I do where I leave food out right after I cook it, and then it goes bad. So I left some salmon out that I cooked last night. I got to eat half last night, stored the second half, and yeah, I left it out, so I have to toss it. That's great. All right, guys, so it's 10:30 p.m. and I'm starving. I want to show you how easy it is to make this birria and birria tacos. All right, so here's the pack. If you guys want it, it's at HEB. I think that's only in Texas and some places in Mexico, but literally all you do is come in this pack, put it in the microwave. That's it. So once the birria is heated up, you get your tortillas. Okay? Make sure they're nice and delicious. Let me just make sure they're evenly heated up. But I've got 4 tortillas. This makes about 3 tacos, but because of like tortilla to meat ratio, I prefer 4 tacos out of this batch. But it does say here that it's 3 servings. Pretty decent macros. There is a lot of sodium though, so be mindful of that. Once you got it all heated up, you got your tortillas ready. Just grab a little bit of meat, just spread it on to the tortilla. Make a nice little taco out of it. So that's, I don't really put anything on my taco, but that's about as much as I put on the tortilla. Then you just use lime, just a tiny bit of salt, and you got yourself birria tacos. I'm so excited. All right, vlog. Decided last minute that I was coming to the movie theater. I'm gonna watch Jackass. Haven't heard the best things from it, but regardless, I like the movie, so I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm not gonna lie, this is super tempting right here. it for the movie. They're playing this random scene, and it's just going on forever. I just got out of the movie. I watched Jackass, Best and Last. And the number one thing that I realized during the movie was that the name Best and Last doesn't necessarily mean that the movie is the best one that they've made and the last one. It means that they're showing a lot of their best stunts and pranks, and that it's the last one. So it's not necessarily a lot of like new pranks and a lot of new stunts and all that. It's just a lot of repeated stuff. I'm pretty sure I saw like 90% of the stunts in this movie in like the previous films, but I'm not complaining too much. It was like a cool, like nostalgic movie, I guess. A lot of the OGs were in there, obviously, because like they did the majority of the films back in the day. But pretty good movie nonetheless if you like that kind of stuff. I actually started watching those movies pretty young. I've always been entertained by like stunts like that, and so yeah, I think it was a good movie. I'd probably come on like a Tuesday where the movie tickets are like $5 instead of $12. But yeah, it was super weird. There was a family in there with like 3 kids under 10 years old, and I'm pretty sure the first scene, the first like stunt in there was a robot putting their finger full of peanut butter into Steve-O's butthole. So yeah, they stayed there throughout the whole movie, which is kind of weird, but whatever. Anyway, if you guys watched the end of the vlog, I appreciate you. You're officially a legend. All right, you crazy kids, I'm out.